Okay, so now let's look at doing a little bit of keyword and competitive research using a cool tool for Etsy stores. So, as we covered in the previous video, one of the things that I've really started to look at incorporating into our tiny products are Notion templates. There's a huge sort of marketplace for folks using Notion. And in our particular use case, I want to actually turn a lot of our tiny courses into Notion templates so folks can actually take the course or download the content or listen to the audio or video tutorials and also get a template that they can use themselves in the process to sell for themselves. All right, so I know very little about Notion other than what I've learned over the last couple of weeks. It's the 26th of March, 2025, and I started actually using Notion a little bit more seriously maybe a month or so ago, and we're already creating our first templates in the mindfulness and mental health related niches. All right, so here is a store on Etsy. I have no idea who this person is, other than they have 8,141 sales, and their templates are nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this store, which is called Grace and Grow. I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to go into this tool here, which is called Sales Dough. I'm going to enter that in, hit submit, and let's see what we can learn about their business. All right. So their estimated monthly revenue, as you can see here, I think this is whatever that number is. It's in non-U.S. dollars. It's in I don't know if that's Thailand. I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not going to advertise my ignorance when it comes to currency, denominators. But they're doing well, clearly. All right, so that's. I mean, I don't know if that's still an IDR or if that's U.S. No, I can't. It's too much to be U.S. But they're selling a lot of stuff, as you can see here, just by dint of the Etsy metric, 8,141 sales, which is a lot. And their products ain't so cheap. I mean, I think that's the cheapest. And it looks like they're generally, anywhere from, it looks like $9 or $8 to 35 or so. But that's still a lot of sales. You can see they're actually doing, quite a bit of recent sales. I like looking at the recent stream on Etsy to get a sense of how well something is actually selling now. And again, today being the 26th, these reviews are only a couple days old, and generally people don't leave. Only a fraction of people will leave reviews, so you know that for every review, there's probably 7, 8, or 10 sales that are not, being reflected in the most recent reviews. All right, so let's go back here for a second. You can see average monthly sales 256. So even at, call it $15 on average a sale, if you take the $8 minimum and then you go up to the maximum product, which was $30 or so, split the difference. Let's say it's somewhere in the middle, call it 15. They're still doing fairly well. Maybe 256 times 15 is roughly, I don't know, what, $4,000 a month or $3,000 a month, something along those lines. You can see the tags that they're using. You can see the templates. So let's look at, let's find, all right, so the views a month on this one here are, in the neighborhood of 2,500. Let's go back into this tool. Let's enter the URL of that particular listing and let's hit submit. All right, so now you have this product was created on the 23rd of October, or excuse me, the 9th of October 2023, last updated yesterday, or today actually, the 26th. This is all of the sort of activity on it. This is a description of it. And you can see, again, if I reduce that screen a little bit, you can see 14 listings, same information that's reflected on Etsy, but you also get inside access to the favorites, and so forth and so on. So you know that this product is selling pretty well, and it's also something that she is updating, or I mean, the pictures of a woman, maybe it's a dude, who knows, maybe it's a business, who knows, but essentially, this is something that was just updated yesterday, as you can see here. So it's a product that this entity, this business, is kind of being mindful of with respect to keeping it fresh and updated. All right, you can continue to drill down on these sorts of things. And let's go look at Notion content, and that'll bring up, I guess, just a general search on Notion content. So let's look here. Is that an ad? I don't know if that's an ad or not an ad. I think this is the same person. Let's see if we can find a different store. All right, so generally what I'll look for is reviews. So if there's a lot of reviews, so here, this one has 2,000 reviews. Let's go to that. All right, let's now, I'll do two things really quickly, then we'll stop this and we'll move on to the next video, which will cover this in a little bit more detail. All right, so this Sell Fairy, they're in Israel, 24,000 sales, which is fairly high. Let us now, I'm going to take that out. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm just going to take all that extraneous Etsy sort of stuff away from the URL. I'm going to look at their shop. All right, so the store is 3 years old, 55 listings. This is their estimated monthly revenue by dint of, about $5.50 USD average per price or median price. This is the number of sales. These are the tags. And now we can start to see again which of their products are selling the best, right? So including estimated revenue. So this product gets 239 views a month. This is the cumulative total, and these are their revenue figures last updated today. That's not so much, $44. I don't know if that's per month or that's overall. Here, so this one here looks interesting, right? So if you're a tiny creator and you're not exactly sure, like I'm not one of those people who believes in like targeting, like niches or like, in the sense of if you don't have any sense of where you're going or direction, this may work. I don't want to start creating content for estheticians, is what I'm saying, right? But if I was agnostic about what niche or what market or what sort of audience I wanted to appeal to, this is pretty damn appealing, right? So you can see this is never a topic or a target audience that I've considered, but this is obviously a pretty profitable niche. This is making, I don't know, $1,135 either a month or I think it's monthly. I think this is the revenue monthly estimation, or maybe it could be a real hard number. I'm not sure, but this is clearly a good niche, right? You can compare that to like real estate, which I would have thought was a better niche, almost the same amount of views per month, right? I mean, this is a little bit less, but it's not that much less. This is 12,445 views a month. This is 9,375. That's a lot, but the difference in terms of revenue is tremendous, right? So let's look at this just for shits and giggles. Again, I don't care about creating content for estheticians. That would not be fun for me. I don't know much about estheticians, nor do I necessarily want to, right? This is a Canva template. It's not a Notion template. So maybe that's worth exploring as well. And we sell a shit ton of Canva templates, right? So if you go to our Gumroad store, Gumroad, or mindfulmarketplace.gumroad.com, I believe it is. I mean, a lot of that stuff there are Canva templates, right? But this is obviously a good niche. And you could buy this and then just make, customizations or revisions to this. That's a whole business model in a box right there. Buying something like this and then just changing it around, right? I mean, you already know the niche, you already know the content, and you could change the fonts, you could change the colors, you could change the branding, obviously, to your own. And essentially, you have a business in a box. You have this product, which you know is selling well on two different fronts, right? You have the validation that comes from this, right? This item has 29 reviews that are, looks pretty positive. They're pretty recent. This is just a couple of weeks ago. This is, in the last 2 months. And, 29 reviews for a particular item on Etsy is validating, as are the 1,968 other reviews on other items that they have. And then you further validate that by looking at, the high amount of reviews, the high amount of sales, etc., etc., right? So if you go here, you can see all these other templates in the last couple of days are also getting really nice reviews. All right, so again, and what's interesting is if you look here, this is actually, so this may be a new listing, but I was mentioning a moment ago that this is the real estate listing we just looked at in this tool over here, which it looks like it's probably here, right? It doesn't have a lot of revenue, but it does have, we looked at these two, side by side. Anyway, I'm maybe getting confusing here. I'm just thinking out loud, but I would maybe validate a little bit more closely, if this number here, this $59, isn't way undercounting the amount of sales. And again, I would do that just by dint of the fact that there's been a couple reviews in the last couple days for this one template that says $59. That feels like it may be actually doing more than $59. And again, other stuff like this that you see. Let's go back. I mean, I have no interest in creating templates that are oriented around a cleaning service market, but clearly, this is a big business. And if you were looking at starting from scratch and had no preferences with respect to niche, you might want to just create these sorts of, products, right? I mean, it's not sexy per se. It's not, I don't know how it scales from the standpoint of like building an entire sort of empire around cleaning service templates. Like that's the stuff that excites me, thinking about how to, tether together lots of different threads and strings, that connect and build and serialize, a niche so that you can create tons and tons of products for a market that you care about. But if you're just interested in selling products that make money, that have some sort of evidence-based, kind of, like you can see by virtue of using tools like this that they're doing well, then this is a niche you may want to consider. All right, and if I actually expand or extend this a little bit, you can see all the different, products on this one page, just by changing the 10 items to 50 items. Now all these different products appear, and you can see which ones seem to be doing well and which ones seem to be just kind of there, right? let's look and see if there's anything else in here that looks particularly salient. Notion template. That one's doing pretty good. Therapist, Instagram post. This is interesting to me because we have a lot of therapy oriented or mental health oriented content in our mindful marketplace community, obviously. This is interesting to me as well. Like the sort of esoteric niche is also fun, and people are really, sort of vested in that. Like when folks really commit to that path, they get very, they're just very interested in, guides and spiritual sort of spells and magic and tarot cards and all that sort of stuff. It's a fun niche. People are a little nutty and crazy, which makes them fun to interact with. Sometimes not. But we have, I personally have some, kind of communities that I've built in that space. We still have our famous psychic medium community, which has been around for a number of years, and I'm still tangentially involved in. Let me see if there's anything else here that's noteworthy. I'm going to look at that just because I'm curious. The ADHD witch planners. That's like really, really niche-y, right? So it's ADHD plus witch, which makes that a pretty, very specific kind of target market, right? Not just a witch, but a witch with ADHD, which is pretty niche-y. All right, anyway, you get the point. This is just using Etsy as a marketplace by which to validate your ideas and using a tool to actually do some real-time research to kind of help you, figure out what ideas that you may have are actually already doing well in some empirical, sense that makes investing your time, effort, energy, and attention in those directions feel more worthwhile. Okay, we're going to continue on this sort of thread. Again, as we started with Notion templates, that's really where I want to focus on our own process because it's a new thing for me, and I'm actually thinking about ways in which to incorporate Notion templates in our tiny book about course community, giving folks Notion workbooks that they can actually use to help them implement the writing tools and techniques and heuristics and guides that ordinarily I would deliver via just a simple PDF. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. The next video in the series will cover this idea, again, implemented with Notion. And if you have questions about any of this, feel free to ask. Thanks so much. As always, I appreciate you watching, and have a wonderful day.